bit of News Center. We're looking at developing stories for you, the big stories at this hour. And like I mentioned, it is Opposition Chief Raila Odinga's crowning moment at Kasarani Gymnasium. Our Duncan Khaemba is on the ground for us. We should be able to cross over to him in this second bit of the bulletin as well, just to get to know what exactly is happening on the ground there. In studio, I have Hesbon Owila. He's a political communications scholar. Thank you for staying with me. And we have now been joined by Joshua Kipto. He's an advocate of the High Court. Thank you and welcome to KTN and the News Center.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
All right, so just before we took that live at Intercontinental, we were talking about what ODM had to say with respect to the release of the results in the upcoming general election. And of course, they've threatened to boycott elections. Hesbon disagrees with me if the presidential results are not announced at the constituent levels. So there's a conversation I want to have with the two gentlemen in studio with me. Kipto, did you listen to what NASA principals had to say with respect to this?
Yes, I heard about it.
What's your interpretation legally?
My interpretation is simple. You know, the court already pronounced itself. IBC has a right to seek a further redress in terms of an appeal. The only problem is that this is a political question. The legal aspect of it has been dealt with in court, which is still, again, pending based on the appeal. But if you look at the basis of the decision is on a simple claim. At what point do we announce the results? And the court only affirmed the position of the law that the returning officer, the constitutional returning officer has been given that particular mandate. The only question should be, who should be the final? Who makes the final call? So the only basis for IEBC chair to seek redress has been we shouldn't just take whatever the RO says to be the final. Rather, let us rubber stamp and let the chair of the commission be the final. And he also has some basis in it because as per the law, when it comes to the presidential elections, the law has clearly identified that the IEBC chair is the returning officer. That's why when the matter proceeds to the Supreme Court, he's the one who answers. But being the political time and having been already declared, and again, look, you know, there's a background to this. The background being, in the previous two elections, the dispute has been something happens to whatever to
the
this
result
vote.
somewhere.
Something happens in between. So to answer that, you would understand why the court becomes realistic and says, what does the law say? Is this a valid vote? Yes. Can it be announced? Yes. So why don't we take it as the final result? That's it. So that the final guy, who in this case being the chair, at the National Tallying Centers only confirms. So I would rather advise it remain as it is because it is not fatal to even the ruling coalition if it is announced at the constituency level. They have their agents. So the chair will only be announcing what is already agreed. Unlike previously where the constituency returning officer only gives what is called provisional, which means it can change when the chair is announcing. That has been the bone of contention. So how do we avoid that anxiety? By allowing the announcement of the result at the the constituency. There is nothing wrong with that. Parties will have agents.
Okay.
The chair will still be there to say, I can confirm. But
I have evidence.
Yes, I have evidence. And you know, that removes the mistrust. Our system is bedeviled by mistrust and anxiety. How do you remove that? Quickly, just release them. Why should we wait for results, for example, from Kabete constituency, which may be around 10 kilometers away from, let me assume the tallying center will be at Bomas, 15, 20 kilometers. Why should we wait for a day or two? If the same can be retrieved within a matter of hours, let it be.
Okay, but then I listened to Ezra Chiloba the other day, like I was telling Hesbon, and he's saying, look, you can have a scenario where the returning officers give numbers that have not been authenticated. They need to verify the results before they're officially announced. What are your thoughts?
Now, verification is not a problem. The main thing that Ezra also, I think, should take on board is that parties will have agents. Each of the parties will have agents. And remember, the election is not a one-day event. It's a process that has been prepared over the years. So why does Ezra forget that all this would have already been done in terms of preparation? We'll have observers, we'll have presidential agents. Then importantly, I don't think the ROs act independently of the national office. I'm perfectly sure they always call. They in fact relay the same they relay the same information and then just concur with them that this is what we are going to announce as the formal and the final tally here. So the chair will just be affirming that. So, Ezra is speaking as if we have two commissions here.
Yeah.
Does it mean the arrows, under whose instructions are arrows working? Who appoints the arrows?
Hezbon is shaking his head like...
I think it's something that probably IBC has already figured out, that it's going to give them some administrative nightmares, which is understandable. But then running to the law is not the solution, because as it is right now, once the agents have signed, all IBC has to do is to scan the document that has been signed and send to the National Tallying Center. And these things will be available to everyone. So why then should we be afraid of declaring something that is going the same way to the National Tallying Center?
Okay, Kipto, just before you walked in, we were sort of not agreeing with Hezbon with respect to what NASA is saying on boycotting the elections. From where you sit, is that a threat or not?
I'll call it political gerrymandering. It's part of the game. Look here, when you are to create a perception, when you want to create a perception, and this time it's a battle of perceptions, the opposition comes out guns blazing for a reason, because part of the reasons or part of their agenda when they were seeking overhaul of IBC was that they wanted to ensure, when it comes to reliance of the results, that would be done quickly, expeditiously, and in a transparent way. So getting a court ruling that affirmed that the final tally will be the constituency, they were getting what they didn't get at the time of negotiation. When they went into negotiation with the other parties after the protest, they never got that. So court gave them, and it was a win for them. So you would understand why they are now coming in, because it's like you're taking it away from them. And I would understand where they're coming from. Don't forget, Raila as a candidate has been complaining of the same. In 2007, that was a major bone of contention, that even the Kriegler Commission identified that there was a breakdown. In fact, the source of all these mistrusts comes from 2007. The then ECK chair, the late Samuel Kivuitu, coming live on camera saying that I'm unable to contact my returning officer. And that is where the trouble started. So in 2013, the same thing again occurred in terms of how long did it take the entire commission getting all the results. It took almost 3-4 days. We dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged. So based on that, you would understand why the opposition says that. As to whether they'll boycott, I think a solution will be found. There is a way in Kenya, politicians always get an answer or a solution. For example, how about if the Court of Appeal agrees with the High Court?
We are good to go.
We are good to go.
Okay, let's listen into what Devolution Cabinet Secretary Mwangi Kiunjuri had to say over the utterances by NASA principals on whether or not they'll boycott the election. Let's listen into that.
But we want to assure you, even if you boycott the elections will go on. The elections will be gone. They will be held. If you want to disrupt in your areas, we shall count what will be voted that day. And the threat you are giving, because you have been threatening, the opposition has constantly threatened that there will be no election in this country. They have predicted doom, chaos in this country. You can see the kind of judgment they are getting. I don't believe that was a reasonable judgment. Because any judge who lives in this country, any judge who has witnessed what you went through the type of violence in this country, cannot give this kind of unfortunate judgment.
Okay, Kipto, your legal mind. This is not a good judgment. What are your thoughts?
Look here. I think non-lawyers always have a problem. I would excuse Mwangi Kiunjuri because he's addressing the public. And politicians, when they have an audience, they'll say what suits them or what the audience wants to listen. You can't say the judge didn't consider all that. Yet, Kriegler Commission identified that the reason we had a build-up of the anxiety and the trouble, that at the end of the day, the final verdict of the Kriegler Commission was we cannot authoritatively say who won, is simply because of the troubles of relaying. In fact, it's about tallying.
That's where
voting
the problem
was not a problem. Tallying was the problem. Reliance of the results. That was the only problem. So you can't say the judge didn't consider that in giving the decision. Importantly, the judge also considers the wholesomeness of the process. Election is always said to be a process. It commences with training. It commences with all players being involved. We have agents, we have observers, we have the parties themselves being the main stakeholders. So it will be absurd for you to say that the judge was giving a decision in a vacuum.
Yeah,
Yet,
said, I don't think any reasonable
I think if you pick
this.
a judgment, now that I practice law and you see a judgment is always a bulky thing, 100-page, 50-page. Why do you think it takes quite some time for them to come up with such a document? Because they are alive to a simple fact. If the judgment is faulty, if it goes to appeal, it will be trashed. So by the time a judge comes up with such a decision, and the Constitutional Division has been very, very consistent, most of the time they always get it right. Because when it comes to constitution, there is so little room for even just giving your opinions. It's simple. What does the law say? What is the practice? Do we have factual information that we can rely upon? It's simple as that. So I don't buy that idea that the judge just made the decision, a political decision. Why do you forget there were the same people who accused Justice Odunga for being political just by giving a very sound, objective judgment. In fact, at the end of the day...
to be fair, you said those of us without the legal background, like we interpret things very differently.
Simply because, no, not everyone, politicians to be specific. If the judgment was there in their favor, Kiunjuri would have come on air saying the judge was perfect, it was impressive, it was good enough. But now that the audience wants to be coached to agree that that judgment was against us, which in fact, in the first instance, is not against them.
Oh.
It is also for their benefit.
Okay.
If they are winning, there'll be no dispute.
All right, people, the split screen you're seeing is from Kasarani Stadium, where ODM is set to endorse Raila. That will be his fourth stab at the presidency. He will be nominated as ODM's presidential candidate. We expect about, 3,000 party delegates to congregate at Kasarani. Our Duncan Khaemba is on the ground for us. It will be Raila's fourth endorsement run for the presidency, and perhaps the last in his decades of political career. So we are keeping an eye on that as well for you. A very elaborate setup there. Duncan Khaemba, initially when he was speaking to him, he was saying, this is a very elaborate setup. Probably this looks very good. So we'll try and see if we can get him to speak to us in a couple of minutes, what he will have picked up to now. But in studio, I have Joshua Kipto, an advocate of the High Court, and Hesbon Owila, political communication scholar. Owila, what are your thoughts about what Kiunjuri said?
I think Kiunjuri is speaking as a politician, and it is unfortunate that now the whole process of tallying votes in the coming general election is being looked at from the other side wants undue advantage. You know, this side is thinking that, you know, we are going to rig, which is very unfortunate because the law as it is and the pronouncement that was made on 4th of April is very clear that the process is going to be as effective and efficient as possible, that you will have whatever is declared at the constituency level tallied at the national center. And that is what everyone wants. If you look at the last 3 or 4 elections that we've had in Kenya, the election day and the voting process is almost always very flawless, very peaceful.
The problem
we always
starts.
have trouble when the tallying starts, you know. And if we are talking about having this as a thing of the past, then as it is, we have a system that will work. And what IBC should do is to ensure that whatever the law says as it is, because I don't see the appeal overturning the ruling. That much I don't see, because there's a precedent that has already been set. And it is good for Kenyans, because we are going to have a transparent system, and because IBC is working for Kenyans, they should just ensure that whatever the law says is what they do, that what is declared at the constituency level is the same thing that is declared at the national level.
All right, Joshua Kipto, I know you're an advocate of the High Court, but can I pick your political mind as well?
You can, you should.
Okay. So let's take a look at what happened yesterday. And this is interesting, and I'd want to get your sentiments on it. Former MPs Koigo Amwere and Kirugi Mukindia defected from the Jubilee Party to opposition alliance NASA. Let's listen to what happened.
Said, oh, Mount Kenya region is not in NASA. I just want to say that the people of Mount Kenya have moved in a very large extent in NASA. The leadership which has been lagging behind.
Kwa kupata ushindi hatimaye lazima tuchague kundi moja dhidi ya kundi lingine. Na mimi binafsi nimechagua kufanya kazi na NASA, na nitafanya kila jitihada kuhakikisha ya kwamba NASA imepata ushindi wake.
We
have said we are going to change this country for a better country. And leaders have come and have gone. But really, there hasn't been change. So for me, I look for somebody, a leader, who will bring about change that Mheshimiwa Kaugi has already talked about. And I see in that change a team called NASA.
Okay, gentlemen, we'll talk about that in a bit. Allow me now to cross over to Kasarani Stadium, where Duncan Haemba is keeping an eye on that endorsement of opposition leader Raila Odinga. Haemba, okay, your seats are still empty. What time is this thing supposed to start?
As I told you earlier, the seats are still empty because of the tight security arrangements that have been made. When to access Kasarani, there are 3 gates that you have to go under thorough security check before you get in. And that explains why we are seeing delegates trooping in one by one. At some point, they are coming in huge numbers. So that perhaps explains why it might take longer to have them actually settle. But from the look of things, perhaps they might just get underway because time is not on their side as well. So that explains why we are having a number of delegates streaming in at a low pace because of the security measures that they have to undergo, the thorough frisking that is actually taking place out there, Linda.
You know what time the core principals are likely to get there?
No idea yet, but perhaps it's a question that I'll pose to one of the NEC members here. Of course, it's the NEC that they are hugely tasked with organizing this convention. This is Mike Rubia, son to veteran politician Charles Wanyoike Rubia. Mike, what time do we expect the principals in here? We were told the function was supposed to get underway proper from 10. It's now past 11.
I believe they'll be here in another half an hour or so. And I think the arrangements are very good. We're here from all over the country. And I'm a NEC member of ODM since 2007. And Central Province is also here. We have a whole team of delegates. And we want to show the country also that ODM belongs to the whole country. People from Central Province are welcome, and we don't need to be boxed into one party. We should be free to go to the party you feel is good for the country.
Rubia Jr., you've been in ODM NEC since 2007. We are looking at 10 years since Raila actually went for presidency under ODM. What would you tell us that is different or that has made you sort of stick with Raila Odinga within ODM for all this while?
I think it's mostly because I believe in social democracy. I really believe in uplifting the down people. People who local Mwananchi needs to be lifted up. And I feel this is the right place. And I think if we give a chance to this party or this leader, I think we'll be very surprised that he'll do wonderful things for the local Mwananchi. From down there, the Mwananchi who's suffering from buying food, they will really see the difference of this country. I really believe in social democracy.
We've had Uhuru Kenyatta 2005 when Orange Democratic began as a movement, then that opposed the Kilifi Constitution or the Kilifi draft. We've had the likes of Margaret Wanjiru, we've had the likes of Mombi Ngaru. They've come, they've left, they've associated with ODM, they've left. For you, what exactly, apart from being a social democrat or believing in the ideals of ODM as a social democrat-oriented party, what else is this that makes you think Raila Odinga is the man that Kenyans should trust with their vote come August?
You see, people have always been having the wrong impression of Raila Odinga. For one, he's a very understanding person. He's compassionate. And if you come to know him, he's not the evil one we've been shown that he's an evil person or he's a rough. And he's completely different. And I really believe that if we give him a chance, he'll prove it. And I've stuck here because I don't see the reason not to be here. Others who have come and left, they have their own reasons. They've been lucky to get positions. I've just been here because I believe in this party. And I believe that the country, we need to be all of us together as a country. I want to show the way that Kenyans can be together anywhere. Feel free to go anywhere in this country. And here in ODM, I feel very much at home. And I hope even in Jubilee, they'll have people from Nyanza who feel very much at home. That's what we want to see. Our parents fought for multi-party. Really, we must show multi-partyism. In our particular family, at one time, we have 3 members of the family in 3 different parties. We had a member in ODM, another one was in with Ruto party, another was the Jirongo party. And Mzee says he's the father of all of us. So we're at home wherever we are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. That is Charles Rubia. That's Mike Rubia, son to veteran politician Charles Rubia, of course, trying to tell us exactly what could be happening. I will be talking to one other member, a NEC member, Rosa Akinyi-Buyu. You've just come from a very bruising party primary. This is not a party primary. For ODM, it's the 3rd time that its party leader is going for presidency. Yes. What is different that we are going to expect this time round? That is the question many Kenyans are asking.
I think the country is different today. Look at the prices of commodities that we have today. Look at the price of milk. Look at the price of maize flour. Look at the price of sugar. That alone tells you that Kenyans want a change, because Kenyans want an improved life. And that improved life is going to come from Raila Amolo Odinga.
Raila Amolo Odinga, as party members, as diehard supporters, what is it that you people are going to do different? Because Kenyans could be tired that this is the 3rd time he's been given that mantle in the event that things don't turn out the way you expect. So what is this that you are going to do it differently, that this time round we will not have that song of we went, we hunted, but the hunt was taken by somebody else?
Look, I've just told you that the country is united in the hunger that they're feeling at the moment. So the country is going to come wholesome behind Raila Amolo Odinga. Now, if that happens, we do not expect another story like we went, we fought, and our vote was stolen. Because the country is united in the hunger that they feel at the moment, the pain they're going through as families, and the country is going to give Raila Amolo Odinga the vote. So there will be no, we went, we fought, and the vote was stolen. Because the vote is going to be with Raila Amolo Odinga.
Rosa, you keep mentioning Raila Odinga in every sentence that you put. If you could tell us who is Raila Odinga, what does he stand for, or what does he mean to you as an individual?
I think when I look at all the presidential candidates that we currently have, Raila Amolo Odinga stands as that man or that person who will fight for near equality for every Kenyan. Give every Kenyan an opportunity to be what they can be. And for those who are underprivileged, give them an opportunity to at least live a dignified life by giving them the basics in life, like shelter, like food, like education, like health. That is Raila Amolo Odinga.
Rosa, we are running out of time, but it's past 11. What time do you expect the function to get underway? What time do you expect the principals? That is the question that my colleague Linda Ogutu had asked me.
I think the principals will be here around 12:30, and the function will be over by around 3-4 o'clock. Yes.
Well, Linda, that is Rosa Akinyi-Buyu, Kisumu County Woman Representative-elect. Although they want to call themselves county MPs, but as it is, she has...
I'm confident with Kisumu County Women Representative. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
So you are designate. You are only awaiting swearing in.
I've already got it. Thank you.
Well, that is Rosa Akinyi saying she's already in. I'll be talking to another member here. If you could join us briefly from Baringo, Lempaka Amos. Could you just tell us, what does this day mean for you? We've seen you, you've been very vocal. Tell us what this day particularly means for you as an ODM member.
Yeah, as a NEC member and also a bona fide member of the party, this is a great day to us. It's a journey that we have been waiting. It's a big dream, and also it's a hope to Kenya. Based on all those challenges that we are facing, even us in Baringo and pastoral communities, this is a hope to us. Our presidential candidate, party leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, has been instrumental in fighting for the rights of those who are down, those who are oppressed, and us as delegates today. Starting this journey, we are going, and we hope we are going to save this country.
In 2007, when he first went for presidency under ODM, that was his second, but 2007 is when he first went for ODM. Rift Valley almost voted to a man for Raila Odinga. That was not the case in 2013. 2017, we have the likes of you. We still have the likes of Kipkorir Menjo. We now have Isaac Ruto. What do you promise 2017 in terms of what we expect the voter turnout from Rift Valley?
The voter turnout will be over 60%, simply because we have specific counties that we are backing on, especially pastoral communities. We have Narok County, we have Kajiado County, we have Samburu County, we have Turkana County, we have Baringo County. Because of the issues that we have been facing right now, issue of insecurity, voters are turning. The Jubilee government are daydreaming. We are going to take almost Rift Valley half. And those are our hope because of the challenges. And even now, the economical crisis we have in the country, Rift Valley people are also suffering. And that's why we are saying we are going to witness a tsunami in Rift Valley. So nobody will lie to you that Rift Valley is intact right now. The coming of Isaac Ruto is also in South Rift, which is more popular, where we have jungle votes, 1.8 million votes. We are hoping if we cannot get all, we only need 1 million in the other side and not at Central Rift. We are going to deliver the rest. We are going to fight. Me personally, in Baringo County, I know North and South will fight and will vote to NASA and Raila Amolo Odinga.
Well, thank you very much, Linda. That is Amos Lempaka explaining what exactly they will have. And he's giving us a very interesting scenario. He says that they've already mapped out the zones that they think with that ODM will be home and dry. That is something else that we would want to exactly maybe hear that. Mheshimiwa, as a NEC member, could you just tell us your aspiration or your dream? People are saying perhaps ODM has dreamt for a long time. The third time, we are not so sure whether the fourth time again other parties will be supporting ODM. So what is this that will be the game changer 2017?
Thank you.
You have to look into the camera.
Yeah, my name is Oleketora John. I'm the national youth leader for ODM. Yes, we might have dreamt, but that dream has brought us to this far. We are now very sure that it is a time, because even the darkest night will always usher in a new dawn. So we believe today is a day that the new dawn will be being ushered here, where Raila Odinga, who is going to be the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. We all know what he stood, what he has fought for this country. As young people, he has been our father. He has nurtured for us. He has stood for the young people. He has fought for democracy. He has fought for free space. And we know he's the best person to transform this economy for this country. And you know, once the economy is transformed,
the youth, what role are they going to play in 2017? Of course, in 2007, we saw them play a huge role. 2013, they are saying the turnout for the youth was not that impressive. As the National Youth League for ODM, what strategy, what mechanism are you going to ensure that you'll have many youth come out as possible on 8th August?
Yeah, we have already managed to put together our youth, closer to 8 million young people that we have put already together in the ground from all the different, from various counties and from various constituencies. And now when we make one statement, it gets to reach all of them. So our biggest target now is just to ensure that the day of voting, because these young people, already 8 million, they have confirmed to us that they already registered members and they are active on the ground, mobilizing fellow youth on the ground. So this time we know young people are united, they are brought together, they have been galvanized, and we know the day of voting, they will come out to vote. And at the same time, they will guard this vote. Because, you know, what we have been having is the issue of votes being rigged, or the returning officer announces this a certain figure, and when that figure reaches a national tallying center, it reaches as a different figure. So our young people, they are going to play a role of guarding that vote.
Sawa. That is Jen Letora, the chairman, National ODM National Youth League, and I think that is what, thank you very much. That is what we will have as of now, but something interesting, I don't know whether Hebron can get something interesting that has been patched atop there, which says the story of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, legend, leader, voice of